experts to break down SK Telecom T1 K's 4th straight win.
Thank you very much, T-Man and Kobe. I'm glad you two survived that game because that was chaotic. I do want to kick this one off talking about the fact that that was the very first time Faker has elected to pick a skin and use it. It's his 2nd ever skin used in competitive play. This is not a lie nor a joke. Monty, do you briefly want to explain the story?
Oh, yeah. So he accidentally used a skin during the Champions Winter Finals up against Ozone, where basically the person who was testing his computer was playing Riven, and then he picked Riven, and it was defaulted onto the Battle Bunny Riven skin. So this is the first time he's intentionally used a skin.
And what a way to do it. It was dramatic. I want to talk about Fnatic's team composition. They went old school. They had double assassins, double teleport. I mean, you played against Fnatic when they were in their prime, winning with this comp. What was your take on Fnatic and how they started the game?
Well, so first of all, Kassadin pick here. It's been banned by SKT in every single game, but because they wanted to play Zed here with the skin, of course, they left it open so Faker could pick the Zed into it in the lane here. Otherwise, I don't think Fnatic would actually have gotten Kassadin. However, they used it well. I mean, the replay we're going to bring up now here on your screens actually really shows how Fnatic played earlier on. So let's pull up the replay and really see how the game was with chasing and everything. It starts down here in the bottom lane. Faker, I believe he might actually have already gone aggressive onto Peke here, but let's just roll the clip. Yeah, he's already gone into Peke. Peke's used his Sonya, he's used his flash to get away. He stays to farm a little bit, and then Fnatic just goes aggressive, gets the first kill onto him, and then they continue to chase. And this is what they did all game long. Whenever SKT were looking for fights, overextending, Fnatic would be there with the Kassadin, with Cyanide on Kha'Zix and just chase them on. I mean, Kassadin is still probably their best champion in the game, actually, when it comes to chasing, and it's what they did here.
Well, this is just a great example of how Fnatic played the entire game. They chased, they chased, they chased, they got more kills, they got more kills, they got more kills. It never equated to towers. Yeah, that was great, it was exciting, but it wasn't control.
Yeah, well, we have to preface this all by saying that the game didn't matter for SKT, but it also didn't matter for Fnatic. All they have to do is win their next game to stay in the race. I do like that Fnatic actually ended up picking a Brawl composition. No more poke comps. So as earlier said, the IHL composition was bad. Still don't agree. They just didn't play the poke comp right. But these Brawl comps, this is typical Fnatic. They seem to go a little bit too far sometimes, but somehow it ends up working most of the time. And especially in offline environments when you have the crowd behind you, this will be a really big boost for them.
Yeah, I think they're looking a lot better overall. And kind of you were talking about the fact they were getting kills, but not anything else out of it. Basically, SKT's lanes were all, I mean, not literally, but like they're all kind of winning, right? Like no one's gonna actually beat up Jax 1v1, and he was pushing the whole time. Like Caitlyn's not gonna fight Vayne after your first big item. That's just not a matchup you win once the laning phase breaks down. So there's no situation where Fnatic gets to like push their waves up steadily. It's just like, well, mid can shove, then he can roam, but like there's nothing to do after that champion dies. You've got like 3 waves to push through, and you can keep getting 600 gold at a time, but that won't win you the game, which we saw here.
Yeah, it's again, the tempo was always throughout that game in SK Telecom's favor, and they were, I think, rather unconcerned given Mandu's choices in itemization, which included a death cap on his support that game, about how that was going to turn out. Yeah,
it works out. Something that we do have to highlight, as exciting as that was, even though it felt like Fnatic were in control, if you didn't look at the bigger picture, and the bigger picture was the later this game went, the less and less likely Fnatic's chances were at winning. They had very little wave clear, and they had no answer to a Vayne or Jax who could split push.
They needed an exhaust as well.
So had they gone even,
no exhaust.
I mean, talk me through this. Talk me through exhaust and talk me through the split push. How could they have won, considering there was a Vayne and a Jax, which are just ticking time bombs?
Right, and that's the thing about it, is that the Kassadin pick was very intentionally baited out, and this is something where we've seen Zed fall off because of the buffs to exhaust, where it cuts the damage by 50%. It's so strong on some of these assassins. But if you're going to make the most out of Kassadin, you can't run exhaust on him, and then they chose not to run any exhaust at all. But when we're talking about dueling in a 3-lane split push with a Zed in one lane, a Vayne in the other, and then a Jax in the last one, not having any kind of exhaust, I mean, there's no way to stop that.
Nope.
They almost had too much split push, though, because they can only put one split pusher in each lane, and then one of them needs to hold mid at least. The only thing working against SKT was somewhat their lack of wave clear. So we, in a real close game, we needed Vayne to like pick up a static shiv and start clearing. If they had an exhaust and they made good picks and they used their teleport correctly, yeah, Fnatic had a chance. But SKT1 was always in control of this game. You saw whenever Fnatic takes a kill, they don't translate it into any objectives or towers. And the one time they do try with Baron, well,
And
happened.
on cue,
Baron.
we just so happen to have a replay of said
Accident.
Baron fight. I mean, it's Krepo, it's like you've done this before. Let's pull up that second replay on your screen. Baron, I don't want to use the word desperation, but I think you could...
Opportunity.
Opportunistic,
Opportunity for
Baron. Monty, you felt quite strongly about this play, so let's throw this one to you.
All right, let's do it. Let's actually get this rolling right here. So you can see got 4 members with Yellow Star joining. And the ward comes in down over the side. And as Deficio points out earlier on, Cyanide probably shouldn't be clearing that ward.
No, I mean, even they could... Everyone else but the jungler should be clearing the ward here, because once he goes over to the wall to actually clear the ward, he's in position for Faker to just ultimate him over. Faker didn't even have to shadow over to kill him here. It's just so easy to pop him down. Then with Pumandu, of course, with all his AP and his ultimate, killing him. So a little bit of a mistake by Cyanide, but Fnatic didn't need it to get this Baron.
Right, that burst is pretty severe, and especially when you have a Zyra who has itemized for a little bit of magic penetration and a little bit of AP. When you have all that shred on you from Baron,
And in the
get-
Baron pit as
Baron
well,
pit,
like
the
everyone
perfect
just gets hit
size of
by
the,
it.
yeah.
Oop, knocked off as well.
Cyanide's really good at smiting, but it's very hard to smite when you're dead.
You can't smite through death, right?
You can't smite through being
Bugged.
smoked.
Well, very, very exciting game. SKT go undefeated in the group stage. They guarantee themselves that first place seed going to playoffs. We know that OMG will be battling Cloud9 next. They'll be looking for that second place. In terms of Fnatic now, their hopes all lie on the very final game of the day against the Taipei Assassins. The winner of that advances through. Freak, what would your take on this be, knowing that TPA looked a little shaky in the previous game, and Fnatic, while it was exciting, they definitely had some moments that they could be proud about?
So TPA did some things right this time. Jay's Morgana I actually really like. I think it's the best champion I've seen him play right now. So I like that he went off the and played Morgana, right? It lets him make BB carry, and that's like how TPA wins. They're behind is like BB just gets gigantic and plays Jinx or Twitch or something gigantic and wins with that. And so that was smart. Achi is still playing really miserably, and that's unfortunate. He had like a 0-5 Renekton game, so that's still not working out. Whereas Fnatic are like individually actually firing quite well. Like all their individual players of Fnatic are doing nicely, and like you could just win the game by winning the laning phase and just constantly being like constantly pressuring the map. And I think that's probably how that matchup plays out.
Definitely worked somewhat similar for Cloud9 earlier today. We'll see if Fnatic can make it work for them. We do have to move on with the show, though. So up next, it is the North American champions Cloud9 versus the Chinese powerhouse